You need more focus to move your business forward? Then listen to this. I'm Helmut Woltker from the Warriors Retreats, where we teach you skills to upgrade your performance in business or life. In the previous videos, I talked about de-stressing. If you haven't seen those, then there's a link here on the 5 best ways to de-stress fast. In order for you to be able to perform better for longer, you need to be able to turn your stress response on and off, hence de-stressing. Here is a video on how you can calm your overactive mind. It also helps to de-stress either during the day or before you go to bed. Assuming now that you have mastered these tips and tricks and are applying them generously throughout the day. Remember, always give your nervous system little recovery breaks to avoid the big jam at the end of the day. What else is really important for you to get ahead in business? Right, focus. Focus was one of the things I struggled with most, but once I started following those simple ideas, I was able to get more work done in less time because I was focused on it. Now, before I tell you about how to get and stay focused for the time necessary to complete your task, let's talk about what focus actually is. If you start paying attention to the task at hand and you put your head down, so to speak, you get into a state of alertness, because when you start focusing, like literally focusing your eyes on the area that you're working with, the distance between your pupils actually decreases and you get into the so-called tunnel vision. You get this cone vision. And this in turn activates an area in your brain stem that secretes epinephrine and acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is your neurochemical for focus. Epinephrine you need for attention and alertness. Sometimes when you're in that zone, you work and time just flies by without you thinking even about eating, drinking, chatting on social media, or getting up to do the dishes or whatever. Before you get into that zone though, sometimes there is struggle. The struggle you experience when you do something that doesn't come easy or that requires lots of concentration. Frustration builds. But if you stick it through long enough and you start figuring out the puzzle, when you start getting even the smallest results, then dopamine comes in and keeps you going. Dopamine is the action molecule in the brain and keeps you going and going and going and going and going. I'm sure you had moments like that in your life, haven't you? I know I have. I get those actually quite easily when I do sports or when I do my CrossFit competitions. There I have learned to enjoy the pain and the frustration. I have done it often enough to know what awaits me on the other side of the pain. And with intellectual work, it's very similar. You need to push through the point of frustration to get to the point of excitation, at which dopamine kicks in, your reward kicks in, and you want to keep going because you start seeing results. So now that you know what happens when you focus, let's talk about how you get there easily. And let's get the obvious straight out of the way. Turn off your computer notifications. Put your mobile phone far away out of sight and turn it to flight mode. And now you might ask, how do I get focused quickly? The state of focus in your brain is directly linked to the visual system. We can either see a wide field of vision, or we can narrow down towards something very particular. We can't, however, do both at the same time. The wide or panoramic field of vision, it relates to the parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest system. Whereas the focusing on a particular point in front of us activates a set of neurons in the brain stem that releases epinephrine and acetylcholine, as already discussed. Now, literally focus on the point in front of you, perhaps the book that you're trying to read or the screen that you're looking at to get information from. Do this for 60 to 120 seconds. This not only brings out those 2 molecules, but it also activates other areas in the brain that are associated with collecting information from the area you focus on. Now, naturally, your attention starts to drift after a while. Whenever you catch yourself losing focus, just bring it back to where it was, where it's supposed to be, by focusing your eyes back onto your target. Also, make sure you don't overdo it. Remember, your nervous system requires breaks, and the ideal lengths of bouts for learning or intense concentration is about 90 minutes. This cycle is also called the ultradian cycle. If you want to speed up the process of integrating newly learned information, Then give yourself 15 to 20 minutes to close your eyes and meditate or follow some guided visualization. Here's a link to my guided visualization. Going for a walk can have the same effect. As you are relaxing your field of vision, you activate your parasympatheticus and you start regenerating. It is in the state of recovery that your body and mind get stronger. Hence, get into this state of recovery regularly throughout the day to avoid overloading your nervous system. This will help you perform better for longer. The time you want to do your systematic focus work during the day is the time when you are most alert. So do observe yourself, do check in with yourself and find out which times of the day you are most alert. Then do this systematic type of work. The best time to do creative work, however, is when you're feeling a bit sleepy or when your mind is in a slightly drowsy state. That's because you're using different areas of the brain for those two types of work. I personally love listening to classical music, especially Mozart, when I need to do systematic work in a focused way. And I listen to ambient sounds when I do creative work. It has been shown that frequency of classical music support focused brain activity. There's also a great paid source from brain.fm where you can get really cool brain tunes. There's also some free trial sessions, so do check it out. To finish off this episode of Increasing Focus for Entrepreneurs and Other Highly Ambitious People, start with managing your stress first. Get a good night of sleep. Make sure you get good nights of sleep because you'll be able to focus more easily the next day. Of course, there's always a cup of coffee that will help you get some epinephrine for your alertness. Then use your visual system for what it was made for. Focus on the thing you need to focus on. Literally, look at it. Ideally, without blinking for about 60 to 120 seconds, or with blinking as little as possible for 60 to 120 seconds. Turn off all distractions and put your mobile phones far away from your reach. If you can, dim the lights around you as well, so it makes it harder for you to perceive your surroundings and easy for you to stay focused on the task at hand. I hope this was really helpful to you. I hope you really enjoyed this. I find these topics so interesting. And if you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you give us a like, a thumbs up, and share the content, share the video with your friends and family. I'm Hammer from the Warriors Retreats, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.